one of my favorite video game characters of all times happens to be Bonk. So imagine my surprise when I found out there was a Bonk video game I knew nothing about, not even a little bit. Matter of fact, the internet itself seems to really not know very much about this game's existence. Hey, I am the Game Collector, and this is Second Opinion Games, and today we look at the arcade game, Bonk's Adventure, aka BC Kid.
Second Opinion Games.
First up, everyone should know that this is nowhere near a remake of the original Bonk whatsoever. Not the NES version, not the Game Boy version. No, this is its own thing. You have your pick of one of 21 levels from the very start of the game. Level 1 is the easiest, and somewhere around the middle, they become all equally difficult. So, there you go. Every 3 levels, you get to choose a boss to fight. And all the bosses are completely different from all the other bosses in the Bonk games. Now the stages here, there is 21 of them, like I said, but they're all very, very short. However, they mask this by throwing collectibles freaking everywhere. And being a Bonk game, you're somewhat drawn in to them. Also, the smiley faces now have a purpose. They add to your head and add to your bonkness, your headbutt power-up thing. And if you can cross the finish line with a lot of them, you get a ton of extra points. If you cross the finish line with none of them, then Bonk begins to cry and sad music plays. But smiley faces aren't the only collectible you have to worry about. There's also different power-ups around to make Bonk super strong in new ways, mostly just shaking the whole ground and exploding everything in sight. But there's also sports balls, like footballs and basketballs and soccer balls, that you could hold on to and carry to the end of the level, and then you have to jump and kind of put them through a hoop or a net or something. Now, if you get hit, you lose smiley faces. If you have no smiley faces and you get hit, you lose your football or soccer ball, etc., etc. And then you won't be able to finish the level with the weird, crazy fashion and get lots of extra points, which will make you sad, but not really sad in the game because it's just all points and who really cares? But you still feel the need to do it. Even on these bosses, I feel like I have to hold on to the soccer ball the whole time, even if it means I'm going to get hit again and again and again and die and pump more quarters into this machine just to hold on to the ball. Also, on boss battles, that is totally pointless because right after you defeat the boss, they just give you the stinking ball back to slam dunk it or whatever. So don't worry about holding onto the ball on the boss battles. That's just to get you to spend more money. And this game isn't really that bad of a quarter muncher. You're given 3 lives, which is pretty much adequate to clear most levels. However, as the game progresses and it gets harder and harder, you'll find out that pits are your worst nightmare, because then you just fall in the pit and die immediately. Then you'll see Bonk at the top of the screen in a little bubble. So of course you want to go as far right as possible because you just want to clear through these worlds very, very quickly with spending the least amount of money. Of course, that also means you're probably going to get to the end in record time, so lots of points there, but with very little smiley faces, so your Bonk cries, and he feels sad and doesn't have a ball to dunk into a hoop or anything, so there you go. The graphics here are actually pretty amazing. Of course, the game did come out in 1994, so the graphics could have been a lot better, but it does hold the same Bonk aesthetic. The music is very uplifting and feels perfect and right at home in the Bonk universe, so it's great. The gameplay itself also feels pretty good, but they did take away one facet of Bonk completely, which I do understand. It would have made the game far too easy, and that's Bonk can't hover through the air just spinning in circles like he can in the Game Boy and Nintendo version, etc., etc. No, now he just cruises straight to the ground or falls down a pit. This can be frustrating as well, but if they would have left it in, like I said, the game would be far too easy. So let's take a look at some of these boss battles. Okay, the boss battles. They're all very, very well done here. Some of them are as easy as playing a quick game of whack-a-mole, but most of them fly around the top of the screen waiting for your perfect chance to strike and take them down. Also, this is where the game pretty much guarantees you to feed another quarter into it. You see, you start off with 2 lives, but if you continue at a boss screen, you get 3 lives. Also, all these bosses are pretty much guaranteed to take at least 2 lives from you, so it's a guaranteed free quarter for the machine. And the bosses themselves are usually fairly easy, assuming you have all 3 lives. And then you move on to the next. They all feel about the same in difficulty, and none of them truly stand out until you come to this crazy huge baby that actually holds your real baby inside of it. Makes you wonder why you're so freely smashing the crap out of it if it holds your real baby. Okay, you move on to the last boss of the game, where you fight a Robo King Drool, which is the closest thing to the real King Drool in the entire game. If you defeat him, you find out that King Drool's son was inside, and he quickly makes an escape. And that's the whole game. You never fight a true end boss, because if you played at least 3 levels, you could fight that end boss immediately. But either way, that's the whole game. Is it worth playing? Yes. This whole game can be beaten in less than 30 minutes, and it costs about $5 to beat or less, making it the perfect game to waste away a bit of time in your afternoon. On top of it, the graphics are great. The music really gets you pumped up, especially for those end bosses, and I love the colors and everything about this game. It's as good as any other Bonk game, but it is missing a true end boss. Other than that, the game is pure Bonk perfection, and it certainly deserves to be in everyone's library, even if we can't own an arcade machine. But that's just my opinion. Thanks for watching. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this review, and those of you that know me know that I don't like playing on emulation, so how did I record this game? Well, I picked up an arcade stick called the Pandora's Box 4S, and this is just one of the many arcade games with it. So in the future, if there's any other arcade games you want to know about, let me know, and hopefully I can play them. And keep in mind, I am releasing a new video every single Wednesday, without fail. So until later, I'll see you again, guys.